You're watching Darrell J. Bennett Live. I'm so excited to be with you, and I can't wait to help you live a higher, more prosperous, more powerful, and more purpose-filled life. Let me tell you about myself. I'm Darrell J. Bennett. I wrote my first book at 18 years old. I started my first company at 21, and I graduated from Harvard Law School at 24. I know how to help people move into another stratosphere of destiny, to operate at a higher level. And that's what I'm here to help you do. I'm Darrell J. Bennett on Darrell J. Bennett Live. You don't want to miss this. Your life is never going to be the same again. Communication, negotiation, and tactics. I want to give you some tactics and strategies. That's the better word. It's tactics, isn't it? Strategies on how to be more effective with setting your price, talking about your price, talking about money. The people that are going to be more successful in their business skills are those that know how to do this or partner with people to do it. That's the cheat code. So maybe you find someone that represents you for your pricing, if you feel like some of these things are an issue. But I wanted to start with persuasion because I think it's a concept that can be used all the way around in everything. Persuasion is just the concept of getting people receptive to your message. Well, how do you get people receptive to your message? One way is to remind them of one or two things. One, why they're great, or two, why they've come to you. So let's start with why they're great, because I use this all the time. And it could be very simple, but I'm teaching you something that could go a far way in life. If I have something, let's say it was probably about a week ago, I had to say something to an intern of mine or a mentee that, he just he had lost his way. Let's just put it like that. And I needed to share with him that what you did was not right. And so instead of me launching into that, I started with, very simply, you've always been really receptive to what I had to share with you. I need to talk to you about this. Just that you've always been very receptive is a reminder of, I think highly of you, right? It's almost like the kid who goes to the parents and says, "You're such a great parent. Can I get such and such and so?" Then that might be much more obvious. But I would encourage you at every aspect of life, and now we're talking specifically about sales and negotiation, to begin with something that is reminding the person of the greatness of who they are. I'm not talking flattery here. I'm really not. And if it feels like flattery, you shouldn't do it. I'm talking about something genuine. Even if it's nothing more than, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about this. Even if it just starts with that. I'm not talking about a long diatribe. It's very important to set the stage. Great communicators set the stage. I'm telling you, you've got to set the stage. I started attracting more paper dollars in my life when I put this behind me, because I knew that there were certain things that I was talking about to certain people that might make it seem like I'm anti-American, and I'm not. I mean, this is the country that I was born in. But I have some very direct views about the legal system, the penal system, the government, things that need to change. But I find people a lot more receptive when they see the flag in the background. It's just little things. It's the little things. It's the reason why. And I learned this in the political sphere. They're masters at it. They know how to set the stage. Barack Obama now a lot of people do it, was one of the first when he was campaigning to have people behind him. What does that show? What does that show? It shows support. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, subconsciously, your mind connects when you see people behind the person that people are supporting them. He was one of the first to do that. Before then, you just saw the people in the crowd. But he understood the importance of having people behind him. And you can read in between the lines here. He was smart about who he had behind him. He was smart about who he had behind him because he knew the optics. So I want you to begin to think about how in my business can I create a different, or maybe even it's around what's going on Zoom. What's my background? All right. How do I appear when I come on? What do I say first? A smile. That right there is persuasion. I've been in meetings where people say, we just want to get down to business. And I'm thinking, people do business with people they like. It's important to smile. It's important to, this is business, right? You just about get down to business. Well, that you might have created an environment just by that one word that made it now adversarial. It doesn't have to be. I want to throw something in here. When you're negotiating, you're attacking the problem, not the person. There's a way to do it this way. All right. The second thing is you can remind a person and why you're great, right? Why they came to you. What does that look like? Well, Robert Cialdini said it this way. If you're in an interview, say, well, what was it that made you reach out to me? What is that doing? It's immediately bringing the person on the other end of the table or the interviewer. It's actually coming to your favor because it's making them at least think of, why did I call you? It's reminding them subtly, you called me. Boo, I didn't call you. So if you have a client or you're beginning a negotiation with a client, you might want to start with, well, look, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. What was it that you reached out to me about? Why did you come to our firm? Maybe just starting there is what's going to do is it's going to put in their mind, first of all, why did they? And it's going to make them start thinking about it. And if you can get them to verbalize it, that's powerful. When you get someone else to say, listen to me, when you get someone else to say about you what you already feel about yourself, right? Or what you want them to feel, that's powerful. It begins to shift the dynamic. What I'm showing you here is how to move out of just the I don't know another way to put it, the 3D, the very base, what you can see, touch, smell, and bring you to a higher sense. This is where we're going to our higher faculties: imagination, perception, memory, those higher faculties, those intangible things that make people move on a decision. I want you to use persuasion over the next week everywhere you can. Everywhere you can. If it's a salesperson that you're going to purchase something from, and you normally do, I know it's a restaurant I go to quite often, and they make good sandwiches. Before they say, you are the bomb at making my sandwich. You know how to make a good sandwich, and then put in your order. See if that doesn't change things. See if every time in life where you can, if you can't give either a powerful compliment, I'm not talking flattery. If it feels like flattery, again, don't do it. But the more you do it, the more natural it'll be. And or for those that are coming to you, this is how you use persuasion. Why did you come to me? Why did you come to my website? You know, what was it about my firm that attracted to you? You know, Cobus, right? Yeah. Corporate governance. Okay, so tell me, okay, let's not get on price first, because I don't want to get contentious here. Tell me, what are your goals for your business? Get them there first. Get them talking about why they came to you. What was the reason? You'd be surprised just by shifting that. Now I'm gonna give you something else right now. Once we go from persuasion, I want you to do discovery. What is discovery? I want you listening deeply for what it is they really, really need. Not want, need. Not want, need. I had a sales mentor, VP of a company, that said to me, I love this. He said, Darrell, people, especially men, will tell you everything they want, but they'll never tell you what they need, because it makes them feel vulnerable and it makes them feel weak. But if you know what they need, you'll always be a seller to them, if you know what they need. So what do they need? What do they need? Or they perceive that they need? Maybe they have the need to, they need to prove to people, I've been talking about this business for 12 years and don't nobody believe I can really do it. And I got to prove it. I got to prove it out. When you know that now, right? Now I can capitalize on that. I'm not talking about taking advantage of the person, but I am talking about capitalizing on the fact that I know what the need is. Great sellers, because that's what you're going to have to do to build yourself as an enterprise. They understand where the need is. You got to listen to it, though. You got to hear. Don't go for what you think it is first. Don't assume. Listen. Why did you come to me? Why are you trying to build the business? But V, what is, okay, all right, so you have these financial goals. What are those goals about? It might just be about, I just want to be independent, V. It ain't even about the money. I am so tired, and I've had several young ladies who've shared this with me. I'm so tired of being told by so many different men that I'm not good enough, that I'm not enough. I need to prove this to myself, and I need to be independent. So now that I know that, how does that shift the conversation? As long as I keep them on what they need, I can move toward my price and terms a lot easier. Where we make our mistake is we go so quick to price and terms. We go so quick to the negotiation. We go so quick to what do I want? What do I want? Because I want that check, right? But if I figure out what they need and I focus there, see, I need to be interested before I try to be interesting. If I do that, I'm telling you every single time, it's a reason. And this is why I tell you, I say, if you could figure this out, how is it that the person in America living in the projects and you make $200, $300, $400 from the government check you got, but yet you stood in a line at Nike's to buy $200 sneakers because you felt like you needed the validation of being able to say, I got the Jordans. That's why it's a $1 billion brand. They're playing on the psyche of people who feel the need. It's their perceived need to be accepted. It's not about the Jordans. That's why they charge what they charge. That's why Yeezy is able to charge $500 for the shoes. Like, are you kidding? $500? Seriously? Because I saw a couple of the shoes. I said, I'm gonna treat myself to a pair. I went, it said $500. I said, you got to be kidding. If you think for 1 second that you know how many people I can bless, you know how many businesses or what I can do with, no, don't like it that much. Okay, don't like it that much, but I get it because now it's that Yeezy's not selling shoes, he's selling belonging. Don't you get it? He's selling inclusion. He's selling coolness. He's selling coolness the same way the iPhone is. That's why they keep coming out with a new iPhone. And so what? The new one might be worse than the last one or not as good or whatever, but people keep upgrading because I got to be in the in crowd. What is it that you have that people need? I need you to, if you get that, that's going to even boost your confidence. When I find people that are charging low and they feel low and they talk low and they don't yet know what they have that people need. I'm telling you on this call, you have something that people need. When you tap into that, the paper dollars are going to begin to flow in a whole different way. So first, I want you to persuade. Secondly, I want you to do discovery. I want you to be listening very deeply. What do they need? Then and only then, we start to move to negotiation. Stop negotiating from a place of not knowing. Stop just throwing out a price. You just threw out a price. Side note, the person who gives the price first, most likely is going to lose. You don't want to give out the price first. Why? Because you showed your hand. Now, I want to teach you, this is one of my favorite words. It's an L word. It's called, it's called leverage. If you know leverage, what is leverage? With the right leverage, it was said by someone, I can move the world because I can have a long enough lever. That's all it is, leverage, right? What do I mean by leverage? Leverage comes in many different ways. Leverage is knowing when you have something that someone else needs. That's leverage. For me, I don't negotiate for real until I know that I have leverage. I've gone from persuasion, I've gone to discovery, and then I know that I have leverage. And sometimes it's only 5 seconds or 5 minutes. I can tell you how it works in a store. I go in a store, and maybe it's a nice suit that I like. And I'll start with complimenting the suit. I'll start with, I'll let them put me in it, and I'm walking around, oh, this is nice. And I might even say something like, you're pretty good. You just spotted my size and put this on me. You're good at what you do, right? All right, so now, before I know we all know what I'm here for, all right, but I still want to do discovery. Okay, so what's the price on this? That's discovery. That's not negotiation yet. I'm asking questions. What's the price on this? Are there any sales going on, any discounts? Okay, all right. And if I get this, then what? Right? So I'm doing discovery. Then and only then once I realize I have leverage. Now, leverage might be, I want to get 3. I might walk around and put on 3 of the suits. Now, and I'm being serious. I want to get 3, right? Because I recognize maybe, and I usually do this anyway with certain things. If you get 2, you get 3, people are more willing to negotiate. That's leverage. Because now I'll give you another leverage. Pull out paper dollars in the middle of a negotiation. It's a difference maker. Forget your credit card. People's minds don't connect to the same way. You pull out that cash while you talking, people start to, wait a minute, hold up though. Because they don't want you to put that cash back in your pocket. I purposely use cash for that reason. How much you say it was? How much? Well, I have to, because now they see you have it, because sometimes people don't think you have it. So sometimes leverage, and this is why, let me finish this. And sometimes leverage is in people knowing what you have. This is why people who are perceived as wealthy usually get things at a lower price, ironically. Because when people think that you have it, they treat you differently. Oh, wait a minute, I can make 3 sales a day? Okay, no, I need to talk to them. This isn't just somebody just trying to haggle me, right? But I haven't even gotten the price yet. We haven't gotten to negotiation. You see, you're persuaded, maybe just walking around, looking at the suits and letting them talk me and all that. And I let the time go. You got to let time. Let me tell you your 2 best friends when you're talking about negotiation. Whether you're negotiating with a business, because I want to separate this really quickly, because you're going to sometimes be talking to a person and sometimes be talking to a person on behalf of a business. Whether it's a person on behalf of a business or person to person negotiating, time and silence are your 2 biggest leverages. And questions. What do I mean by time? Don't rush. That's where a lot of people make their mistake. They rush to either throw out a price. They rush to ask a price. Don't even ask a price. Just put it on. Enjoy it. Let's say it's a business contract. Right? You're just asking them about, let's say, somebody give me a scenario. I don't want to say let's say. Somebody give me a scenario where you would be negotiating for something, preferably with your business.
What about negotiating for salary increase?
That's a beautiful one. That's a beautiful one. So if I'm negotiating a salary increase, this is going to be perhaps a little longer of a cycle, because if it's a salary increase, I'm already there. So part of the persuasion is me doing a great job at what I'm doing. That's persuasion, right? Because I'm already put in, I'm a great employee, right? Or I may have started with, saying something to the person around the effect of, I understand that this is the time where evaluations come in, something to that effect. Now, this is how we do for salary increase. This is how we kind of work for salary increase. You want to definitely be doing a lot of discovery. What do you want to know in discovery for something like that? What do they need? The money's always there, I'm telling you. And the will to give the money's always there, if you are able to know what do they need. So the first question is, what is your salary tied to? It's tied to something, which is why I want to go back to the statement. And when I was saying to you, V, before about your performance connected to paper dollars and all that, the reason why I was kind of hitting on that is, when you know that, you're going to be so much more effective at negotiating on all levels. So you want to ask the question, first of all, what am I getting paid as a result of? If you're a salaried employee, you should know that. The second is, what is it that they are looking to achieve? That's the discovery. I have a friend who, I love this. This is what he does in all negotiations. What do you care about most? That's a deep question. And just stop. What do you care about most? Now, even if you don't ask that outright, if you are looking for a salary increase, the discovery is you figuring that out. What are they looking for most? Maybe in your division, what they're really looking for are more clients. That's what they're looking for. They need more clients. They need more clients. So if I stick on what I want, who doesn't want a raise? Who doesn't want an extra whatever? But if I know what they want, they want more clients. So now it becomes, let me ask you something. Is there a way that if I bring more clients, I can be compensated for that? Silence. Remember, time and silence. Let me tell you the other thing. People mess up because they do too much of this in the negotiation. Because I'm reading the book and I said, ooh, this is deep. It hit me hard when they said, we hide our insecurity in a multiplicity of words. Just ask the question. If I bring more clients, is there a way that I can be compensated for that? Stop. You would be surprised at what the answer is. You know what they need. They need more clients. If that's the answer. I mean, what business doesn't want more clients? What business doesn't want more business? So if I get on board with that, I don't need to get so focused on the salary increase. That's not the focus. Yeah. So yes, maybe the focus when I write it down on my intention, right, and in the beginning. So let me be clear on that. But the focus of my conversation has to be how to help that other person get there. Salary increases are so easy. I mean, I'm telling you, it's so easy. I could walk you through it in my sleep because all you need to know is what is it that they need, and then you ask that question. Now, if that's for you, Catherine, if you ask that over the next 7 days, you bring that answer back to me, I can walk you through the next steps. We got to know that, right? We can't just gloss over that because they might say to you, well, look, there are certain government restrictions that keep us doing this and this. Okay, then we need to know, right? But they still need the business in some way. But it might just be, well, look, I mean, we can set it up really simply. For every client you bring over this amount, we'll give you this amount. Okay, well, how easy is that? And that came from one question. All right, so let's write that up. You see, most people won't ask the question. This is why I don't want you to say I'm a salaried employee. You can never be wealthy as an employee. Mindset. You can work as an employee at the moment with a salary, but if I tether my I am as an employee, I am wealthy and I am an employee are incompatible. An employee mindset will never be wealthy, but I can work as an employee and have an entrepreneur mindset. And that's an entrepreneur mindset. I want to help you solve the problem. I'm not even thinking in terms of salary. I'm thinking in terms of paper dollars. I'm thinking in terms of upside. I'm thinking in terms of equity. I'm thinking in terms of helping you get to your goal. And as a result of helping you get to your goal, what's the piece in it for me? Everybody knows there's a piece in it for them. I mean, doggone it. If the cab driver drives you from here to the airport, they get a piece of it. I mean, we don't have to have this long discussion about, whether they're worth it or not. You provided the service. Then you got the dollars, right? So I need to understand it and I need to ask the question. And then we just got to figure out, let's put in a plan. That might be the 2000 right there. So I don't want you to think about, even when we talk about a side hustle, sometimes the side hustle doesn't need to be aside from what you're doing. It needs to be more of what you're already doing. It might be. I mean, it might be a side hustle, meaning I don't really believe in side hustles. I believe in many streams of income, right? Many streams. There were many rivers that flew through the Garden of Eden. I'm trying to give it to you the only way that I know how, because I'm telling you, when you perceive this in your spirit, you'll never feel the same way again. There were many streams that flow through a garden. There's a garden that you were meant to live in. There's a garden that man was meant to live in. That if man can get in the garden, that's the problem. You're outside of the garden. When you're in the garden, oh, it's a beautiful thing. So what I want you to focus on, and this is for everybody here, especially if you work as an employee now, that's easy in that sense, because I just go to the person that's so-called in charge, and I ask them, what do I need to do? Now, let me give a caveat. It might be a supervisor who's not clear to do that. Sometimes people say no because they can't say yes. So I go higher. Somebody in that company is willing to pay me to bring them business. I guarantee you. And if I got to go all the way up to the CEO, then I go all the way up to the CEO, because somebody there needs more business. Somebody there, and somebody's going to be angry at a manager who says, well, no, you don't. No, that's not how we do this here. No, you just don't have the permission to do it, or the mindset, because you have an employee mindset too, right? So I just got to go higher. Somebody on that level, they're thinking all day right now, Catherine, somebody where at your company, at the company you're working at, is right now trying to figure out how to make more, especially if they got the same news that came over my feed. Are you kidding? That's leverage. That's leverage. Now, what you paid me last week isn't the same as what it is this week because of everything happening. And I understand you can't just give me more money, and I'm willing to put in more effort.
but I have obligations that I need to meet. So I'm asking you, how do we work this out where I can share in the upside of bringing more business, or I can share in the upside of helping solve the problem. I got to know the problem that they have. And if I help you solve that problem, what's in it for me? That's essentially what you're asking. People are willing to have that conversation with you. What they don't want to have the conversation is, things are going bad for me. My bills are high. I need a raise. I mean, yeah, and they want more money. So if I can help you get to that, then you can help me get to this. All right. So time, leverage, silence. Silence is a big one. Ask a question and then stop. Ask a question and then stop. You got to stop long enough to let them, so you can do discovery. So let's walk through how this might look if it's person to person and you give your fee. And let's say they say, what is your fee? All right. So even then I'm kind of cognizant about that, because if you say that, if you ask me what my fee is, who's giving the price first? If somebody asks me what my fee is and I just throw it out, then I've given the price first. And I don't want to do that. So how am I going to respond without giving the price? Well, what do you mean what my fee is? It depends. I do a lot of different things. What is it that you're looking for? You see how I just did that? I put it back on them. Eventually, I'm going to give a number, but I got to understand more. I don't want to just throw out a fee. What does that mean? Because I might throw something out and it's totally, no. I need to understand more. So they say, well, let's go in the case of V. Let's say now, and I want to speak this into your life. Let's say now you're doing on the side. I don't want to call it on the side. You have your own enterprise where you're doing financial advising. And they say, well, what's your fee? Well, it depends on fee. That's a strong word. Tell me, what is it? It depends. What is it that you're looking for? Well, really what I need to do is I need to set up my business. I have some personal issues around finance that I need to understand better. Okay, all right. So tell me about that. What are you looking for? Are you looking for one-to-one coaching? Are you looking for me to meet with you weekly? Well, really what I'm looking for is I don't really need coaching that much. I really just need you to balance the budget. Maybe I can send you my budget and each week you can tell me how I can do better. You can give me ideas. Oh, okay. All right. So tell me, in that world, what does that look like for you? What does that look like? Do you want to do in person? Do you want to do virtual? You see what I'm doing? I am asking, the more questions that I ask, now I might still give the price first, but I got to do discovery. I got to do discovery. I got to be hearing. I got to be listening. And the more I'm listening, maybe what I hear is, all they really essentially need to do is, this is all virtual, and they just want a couple tips. And over the course of 2 weeks, over the course of a month, they just want to meet with me twice on virtual. And then, they want me to maybe just walk through their budget with them. Then what I would say is, in that case, for that, typically what I would charge is this. Stop. I didn't give you your price. All I'm saying is typically okay, so let me, and I want to repeat it. I would repeat it for them. Let me get this right. So you want to meet with me twice a month on Zoom for 60 minutes, and you want me to sort of go through your entire budget and just kind of give you updates weekly through email. All right. So typically what we would charge for that, what the investment would be, right? And I try not to use words like charge. The investment for that would be is 500 Rand, or let's say it's 1,000 Rand. I don't know that. I'm gonna use dollars because typically it's $1,500. Is that something you're comfortable with? Now notice, before I stop, I ask the question at the end, is that something you're comfortable with? And I stop. I don't keep talking, because if I keep talking, I let them know that I may not be comfortable with the price. Now they might say, in that case, 1,500, wow, okay. I didn't really expect that. That's kind of a lot. Okay, how am I going to come back on that? How am I going to come back on that? Because I have a comeback. Okay, so tell me this. What were you intending to pay? I'm sure I wasn't the first person you came to. What were other people charging? You see what I'm doing? Now I'm getting them in the mindset of realizing it's not going to be a free lunch, right? What were other people charging? Meaning, this is kind of coming back to persuasion. Why did you come to me? And I'm understanding. Now, maybe they say, really, I thought it was going to be closer to 1,000. Okay, all right. We might be able to work with that. And you might say in your mind, look, because in your mind, maybe you already had, you were willing to go there anyway, but you gave that price. All right. But you're doing discovery. You're understanding things. Everybody feels comfortable. You're not hardballing people. So like, this is my rate. No, you notice I never said this is my rate. This is what I typically would charge, or this is what the investment for my clients typically are for this service. You see? And okay, well, tell me what you're comfortable with, or are you comfortable with that? You see how I'm walking them through the process. What I'm showing you is there's a process to get people to procure, buy, purchase, and acquire your services. It's not just, this is it. Now, as I'm doing that all the way through, I'm doing discovery. I'm asking questions. I'm understanding. So let me go to Catherine. If this is a conversation I'm having over several weeks, I am understanding what is the problem that they need solved at a high level. And when I ask, okay, so I've already asked the question, how would we incentivize that? Because that's another way to say it, right? You can just ask, okay, so let's say with my network, so with my time outside of work, I'm able to bring an extra 40 clients. How would that be incentivized? Stop. Well, never really thought of it that way. Okay, we could give you 10% of everybody you bring us. Okay, all right, 10%. Then you might be in your mind like, oh, you're already doing the math. Like, that's great. I still wouldn't stop at that. You never stop at what they give you first, because they gave it to you first because they were willing to go higher. Now I'm gonna show you how to get the most out of the limit. 15%. Okay, or 10, excuse me, 10. Okay. I was thinking more in my mind closer to like 20%, because what I know that I can bring is, I know easily I can bring you an extra 100 clients. It's going to take some time. I'm probably going to have to put my own dollars behind some of the marketing, but I know I can bring you an extra 100 clients. Would you consider 20%? They might say, let's split in the middle with 15. You already got more than what you're expecting, right? Or maybe they say, you know what? Okay, 20, but that's as high as we can go. All right, yeah. Okay, let's do 20. You see how we did that? Simple, easy. Now let's say, no, we wouldn't do that. Okay, so how do you incentivize other people that bring you business? I know that you have a marketing, right? This is where discovery comes in. Somebody probably is marketing, right? That they have a company that's helping them. They have a team that's helping them. How do they work with that team? And now you're doing discovery. This is the same as I was giving to what are other people, what were other people charging for this type of service, right? For you, Catherine, is what are other people at a business level? What are other businesses charging you to do this? I mean, no, people not just bringing you, I mean, I don't want to say that. Yes, out of the goodness of their heart, yes, some people just bring you business. But for the most part, it's built on partnerships, and equity means both sides eat. So how are you doing that? You might hear that they say, look, we've got a marketing team. They do all the work. I'm laughing because let me give you a specific example. At a company that I had in my mind, I said, I'm gonna go to them and I'm gonna do 10%. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm gonna bring them, I wanna do 10%. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, as far as commission splits for what business I bring them. So I'm talking to them. They said, what did I say first? They said 10. That's what they said, 10. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, because I said the same thing. How do I incentivize that? They said 10%. I'm thinking they said 10 first, so I know they can go higher. I got them to say the price first, remember? All right, so I said, well, okay, 10, that seems a little low. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I'm already counting the money, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, because I know I'm gonna bring the clients. I'm already counting it. I'm already picking stuff out, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and that. But I'm like, okay, seems a little low. Well, how do you work with that one marketing team? Well, look, and this is what the guy said to me. He said, look, they're different. They have they do all of the marketing materials. We don't give them anything and they bring us clients, period. Yeah, they get 18%, but they do all the work. Okay, I'm thinking 18. I said, okay. I didn't know that they were doing that much. I thought the highest people were getting were 10%. We ended up settling on 15. But you see how I did it? By understanding that you had 18%. And I'm still thinking in the back of my mind, if you told me 18%, you're probably giving them 20. But okay, we're not going to go there. But you see how just by asking the right questions, I wasn't being coy when I said before, or just playing with words, that answers are employees of questions. You want a higher salary? You want more money? Ask the right questions. What are other people doing for this? All right. All right. I see we have about 10 minutes left. We're going to continue this next week. Are there some other questions? I have some more to give you. Obviously, I can do this for hours. But are there some other questions that you might have specifically on this? And then I'm going to give some specific guidance to each of you. Is it helpful? Is this going to help you get
Very.
closer to the goal? Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes, it's helpful.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So what I want you to be doing is this is what we're going to do over the next week. Let's do more discovery. Let's find out where you're already making the most of your money. Wherever that is, find out what their need is. So instead of thinking a side thing, let's start there, because it's easy to have confidence in what you're already good at and where you've already been getting paid. Where are your wells already bringing water? And I want you to think of, how do you dig a deeper well? Understand a deeper level of the problem.